Hello, boys and girls, and happy Monday. We have a new prompt today, and this one is a little funny. It says, she chewed the gum found after one and grew and grew and grew. Well, the first thing I thought about that when I saw that prompt is, who is she? I'm not quite sure. And why did she find the gum after 1 o'clock instead of before 1 o'clock? And then what did it look like when she grew and grew and grew? So there were some things to think about when you think about chewing gum after a certain time of day and it making you grow and grow and grow. So I wanted to show you one of my art journals because what we're doing is called Journal Through It. And we've been drawing, we've been painting a lot. But I also want to show you how I use an actual art journal to keep pages in. I write in it, I draw in it, I paint in it, and sometimes I just use black and white. Sometimes I don't use colors. And today's one of those lessons where I'm going to show you how I use just a pen to draw and move the line and use my creativity and imagination. So I'm going to flip the camera over. I'm going to show you a few pages in my journal, and then we're going to get started. So here is my journal. This is one of my journals. So this is just a book. It's a handmade book, and it's falling apart, but it's got lots and lots of pages where you can see that I've written in there. I've drawn things, but sometimes I just use a pen. I just use a marker. I just use a Sharpie, and you can see too, it's messy. Every page in my journal is not meant to be perfect. In fact, nothing that I create is ever meant to be perfect. This is a place for me to practice. And if I can practice in a book, when I go to actually create a painting, I'm going to be better equipped for that. Just like anything, just like sports and dance and things you want to learn, the more you practice, the better you get. So this is a page, and it's actually sideways. I'll show it to you this way. Where I was just drawing 3 characters. He's looking sideways, this guy's looking this way, and this person's looking over here. This character is just a boy. He had very short hair, and I love just working with line work. This page makes me really happy. This page is where I used a pencil, and I worked on shading, and then I wanted some what we call contrast, and contrast is the difference in something, the range of contrast. See how dark black that is, and see how light that is? That means that there's contrast, dark to light. And it makes things more impactful or interesting. You notice them more. Now, I did add a little bit of color in those eyes, and that's okay. But for the most part, it's just black and white. Sometimes I just write in my journal. I just practice writing lines and things like that. And then sometimes I get crazy, and I do a big, long page, and I let myself be messy. And then I turn my messes into something that I like, that I find interesting using my imagination. So that's what this page is. So I'm going to open to a new page. And because this book is so tall, you're not going to be able to see both pages. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to approach this. She chewed the gum found after one and grew and grew and grew. So that grew and grew and grew tells me that I want at least maybe 2 to 3 characters, because I want to show the small person chewing the gum, and then I want to show how that person grew taller and then grew taller. And I'm going to just approach this very loose and fun and using my imagination. There is a trick you can do if you're going to draw people on a page, so that you can draw them without their legs going off if you want their whole body on the page. And I'm going to mark 2 marks right here. where the feet will be. And then I'm going to mark right there where her head will be. So I know between this mark and these two marks, I've got to get the head and the feet. I've got to squish this little person's body in this space. So I'm going to draw an oval for a head, and then I'm going to draw two upside down smiley faces for feet. I'm going to give her a little neck, like that. And then this is about halfway where her shirt would go. I'm going to give her a dress. Two lines for legs, maybe a little circle for some knees. And then she's got her hand on her hip. Just like that, because she's just found the gum. And she's got her hand on her hip. And she's saying, I've just found some gum, and I'm going to chew it. I think I might give this person some striped and add some juicy tidbits. And then she also needs some hair. So I'm going to give her some hair. Just like that. So I've got my little person here. Now I think I'm going to draw this little character with a circle right here because she's blowing a bubble. And then I want to give her some eyes and a little nose, and she's blowing a bubble. And I think right above that, I'm going to put a circle, and I'm going to outline this circle, and I'm going to put 12, 6, 3, 9, and here's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I making? I'm drawing a clock. 10, 11. So it's 1 o'clock. So the little hand points to 1. The big hand points to 12. So now I have my little person. But what happens if I want to make this person grow? How do I do that if I'm drawing? Well, I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to make the 2 marks for her feet. But now, because I want her to grow, her headline needs to be taller. Now I can do the exact same thing. 2 upside down circles for feet. The head's going to be a little bit bigger. There's her neck. There's her arm. There's her shirt. And I'm making a little bit more details in her skirt. There's her knee. I gave her bumpy knees. She needs some hair, right? Yep. And her bubble's getting bigger. There's her nose. And you see how she just grew. She just grew. Let's go ahead and give her stripes on her skirt. Just like that. And now I think I'm going to draw one more. And I'm going to do it the exact same way. But this time, she's going to be really, really tall. Same thing. Draw the line for the feet. But now, here's the head. Way up here. So this time I know the head's going to be bigger. There's her neck. Oh my goodness, she's so tall. Here's her hair. And because she's bigger, I can add a few more details to her face. She's still blowing a bubble though. And this time, I'm going to draw her arm, and it's going to be longer. Why? Well, because she's taller. She's actually skinnier, too, because when she grew, it made her thinner. So she's going to be really skinny. And then I'm going to have her waving at us instead of both hands on her hips. So if she's waving, then her arm is kind of bent up like this. There's her thumb. That's her wrist. Hey, holla. Now she needs her skirt. And she still has these knobby little knees. But this time I'm going to change her feet, and I'm going to give her toes. And it looks like I made her feet bigger and almost hairy. So now I have 3 characters. She chewed the gum found after 1, and she grew and grew and grew. Now I still want to go back in and make a horizon line to put these characters in a setting. And at this point, I can either keep drawing and adding details. I can start coloring in if I wanted to. I can add some shadows for lights and darks. I can add some lines for details. I can use my imagination. I might put some birds in here. I might draw some trees in the background. I might draw her favorite cat 3 different ways. But I can use my imagination now, and I can have a whole lot of fun. Now, you might interpret this prompt very differently. And I can't wait to see how you're going to read She Chewed the Gum Found After 1 and Grew and Grew and Grew. One of the things I would like to encourage you all to do, though, after you draw, write the story. Write a poem about it. Tell the story about what kind of gum it was. Was it magic gum? Was it gum that had growing beans? Was it made out of growing beans? Use your imagination and tell the story. Because there is a story behind somebody who chews the gum found after 1, and it makes them grow and grow and grow. What happens when this person wants to go back to their normal size? How do they get back to normal? I don't know, but you get to decide, and you get to tell the story. And you can do that in your journal. You can do that on a blank page. You can write some details right here in this blank space. And don't forget to date your pages. So today is 4/20/2020. Wow, that's a fun date. That way, when you look back on this when you get older, you'll remember, what were you doing on this day, on April 20th, 2020? I was chewing gum found after 1, and I grew and grew and grew. I hope you have fun, and I can't wait to see what you create.